Good day and welcome to the Business Success Network podcast.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the BSN podcast for disabled entrepreneurs. I am Jo O'Neill of Bright Cat Business Solutions. I'm also the community leader for the Business Success Network for Disabled Entrepreneurs Facebook group. Today I have with me our wonderful sponsor and guest, Liz Grainey, who is your second time on this podcast. Yeah. But you're such a fun guest, we just had to have you back. Liz, do you want to remind people who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Liz Grainey here from Escape the Village, and I'm a rural marketing consultant. I'm based down in Wiltshire in a lovely small village called Lynham, where we're outnumbered probably 10-1 by the British Army. I'm very lucky. I can just walk out the door, cross the road, and I'm into fields, though. And I work predominantly with rural businesses. So that's a mix of equine, agricultural businesses, the odd private airstrip thrown in there for good measure as well. And we provide a variety of services from consultancy and training for marketing through to website development, social media management, reputation management, content creation, and all sorts of exciting things like that.
Fabulous. And as marketing is my area as well, it's always good to have a good natter about marketing. Though I do love your niche, I must say, and I did think you were going to say you were outnumbered 10-1 by farm animals.
Which is there is that aspect of it as well. Actually, on our website, on our About Us page, we don't have Meet the Team. In fact, all our team know what comes first, and it's the animals. We actually have Meet the Herd, and we have the dogs on there, the cat on there, the horses on there, the chickens on there. We even have our foster hedgehog on there at the moment, but bless, who's actually on the desk behind me.
Oh God, I thought it had been released by now.
No, he's not quite up to weight yet. So, but I mean, he's got the all clear from the vets. We're just, getting him up to a safe weight for hibernation.
Oh, bless him. I've been loving watching it, by the way. But as we all know, you show people animals, they will go gaga for it.
Yes, I mean, he's not very user-friendly. He's quite spiky. He's bitten my husband. He does like to give me nose bops, though, so he's a bit more user-friendly with me. But
it's because he likes you.
And we even have now, I mean, this is how silly this has got. We've actually got a little cuddly hedgehog who comes to face networking events and conferences with me. So if we can have a selfie with the baby bird.
I like that.
It's madness, absolute madness.
But then I also have Meet the Team on my website, and it's my cats. Because
absolutely.
People like that. It's a bit quirky. It's different.
It is, and also it actually gives something for people to talk about. People phone us up and they tell us about their chickens before they tell us about their problems, and then they relax a bit and things, or they ask about our Houdini escaping pony and things like that. And it helps you to build a better relationship with people.
It does. I mean, I've spent far too long talking to clients about cats and dogs and things. But it's good to talk, and it does build that rapport.
Absolutely.
I mean, after I rebuilt my website and launched it, which took me about 3 months, about 2 hours later, a potential client rang me who had quite obviously been through my website quite detailed, because she's telling me what she likes about it and what she liked about me and how she wants to work with me and why. I thought that was amazing. She hadn't found me because I'd relaunched my website. She actually found me on one of the professional VA websites. But she really liked that website, so I'm really glad I launched that this morning.
That's it. I mean, okay, qualifications, experience, and goodness knows what else is fabulous. But unless you can actually get on with the person, like the person,
it doesn't work otherwise. It's like you have to go up to have a conversation. And she actually came to me as a project client, which is quite a big project. She's now a regular client.
Wow. That's brilliant.
And she was like, I like giving work to people like you. You're honest about your disabilities. Like, you've got quirky, fun stuff. I love your pictures, everything. So it's like, I just makes me maybe really happy that I was representing myself well on my new website.
Absolutely. And it's one of the reasons that people come to us. They know that I actually know one end of a tractor from the other.
Yeah.
And things like that. So actually having that niche, although it's quite unusual as a niche, I'm lucky. I've lived on farms or in small villages most of my life, and actually understanding the niche, having been part of the niche, it's not just a case of, right, well, where am I going to get the biggest profit, or what's everybody else doing? I think my niche found me rather than me finding my niche, probably.
Yeah. I'm currently gathering neurodiverse clients, which is quite fun.
Absolutely. Gosh.
And sometimes it breaks my brain a little bit, but that's fine. It's all good.
I must admit, I've had a challenging morning myself at the moment with one client sending me WhatsApps and saying she can't access her email, but then also actually not even knowing what email she's trying to access. And the messages going backwards and forwards have been very entertaining. I mean, thankfully, she's got a fabulous sense of humour. And I don't actually support her email, but she said, you're the only person who explains things how I understand them. So I've messaged you. So
that is fair. It is important to actually use language that people actually understand. And IT guys are bad at that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had to set up a ticketing system for a country show that we're working with, and this was for next year. And I'll be honest with you, I have never been on such a website that's so illogical.
Yeah.
The layout, the labels, and I ended up phoning him up in the end. I said, I'm really sorry, but you're going to have to talk me through how to do this, because I've tried and I've looked at this, and I've got one ticket set up for camping, but I need to do a season ticket. I need to do individual tickets for each day. And at the moment, all I've managed to do is connect Stripe. And I honestly, I mean, if I can't do it.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
there just come a point where you go, I am extremely tech savvy. Why won't this do what I want it to? This is bad.
Absolutely. And I did feedback to him. I did say, that really isn't logical. You know that. He goes, no, I know. I'm sorry. Right. Okay. And thankfully it's set up now. I don't have to think about it until next year now. But it was like one of those days when you just think to yourself, why do I do what I do?
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to play this game anymore. Let me escape.
I suppose that is the good thing about being self-employed. At that point, you can walk away and go, I'll come back to that.
Absolutely. Although I must admit, I'd already done that. So yeah, we'd already launched like the e-commerce side of the site for all the trade to book in, all the craft to book in, and all of that sort of thing. But the actual public entry tickets we did through a different platform. And yes, beginning to wonder about my life choices at that point. But baptism of fire, and we got there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that works. All right, so I've asked you this question before, but we ask it to everybody who comes on this podcast, and it might have changed since I last spoke to you. So what does business success look like to you currently?
Oh, gosh. Has it changed? I'm not sure. I mean, business success for me has always been a combination of me loving what I do. I really got to love what I do, but also giving me the flexibility to fit around my health and my family's health, because I mean, I've got a combination of almost like a variety list of health challenges. But over the last year, my daughter's been diagnosed with some health challenges as well. She works for me part-time around college. And I think it's really about choice for me. So, I mean, recently I've had a couple of sort of occasions where I've not maybe felt very well. And so I've managed to just have the afternoon off, go and have a rest. Yeah. That to me is choice. That to me is success, because I can make that decision. And then if I want to, I can do some time at the weekend, and I can do as much work or as little work that I want to do. And I mean, this year, well, actually last month I hit a milestone, because prior to launching Escape the Village, I actually had a corporate job, and I was the brand manager for quite a large national company, and prior to that, an international company. And one of my first goals when I launched Escape the Village was to equal my corporate income.
Yeah,
and
that's a good goal.
That was like, and I managed to do that 6 weeks early off of the year point. And so that was a biggie for me. That was a big tick.
Yeah, well done. I am nearing capacity for the first time ever in my business.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which, to say 6 months ago I had no idea how we were paying the bills is a little bit mind-blowing. Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 clients who I know want to increase their hours. So I'm pretty much at capacity with that.
So what do you think you've done that's turned that around? What do you think you've done that's actually changed things? Do you think that was your mindset? Do you think that was actually your marketing? Do you think what do you think has changed?
My marketing didn't change. I just kept plugging away.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure if it was other people's mindset, because if you remember at the start of this year, a lot of businesses said nobody's spending money, nobody's doing anything. Everybody was sort of waiting.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like everybody came unstuck and things started moving again. And yeah, they moved quite quickly.
I think a lot of people waiting for the general election to get out of the way. Yeah. There seemed to be a lot of hesitancy there, and people not knowing quite sure what was going to happen, which way it was going to go. Earlier this year, there was a lot of nervousness around, wasn't there? I think
there was.
And I had some clients holding off myself. And then come August, it just absolutely exploded. Yeah. And September was probably my busiest month since I launched Escape the Village.
September was my biggest month ever. And yeah, I think in April time, we decided my husband needed to go get a job. And I think about 3-4 weeks before he actually got one, everything started moving again. I mean, he does have a full-time job, which he's, I'd say enjoying, but he says enjoying is a strong word. He doesn't hate it. And I am now comfortably covering the bills. So it's like, here's money, we can actually do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's because we've been building this business for like the last 3-4 years. It's like, it's quite strange to go, oh, I can just buy things and save for things.
It is strange, isn't it? I really do believe in perseverance, because I knew that it was going to be tough.
Yeah.
When I launched my business, and my husband had his own business as well, and we'd always said that one person in the relationship would have a business and one person had to have a sensible job. We knew we had money coming in at the end of every month. But when I was made redundant, because the entire company ceased trading, and although I had offers, I think I become really disillusioned with the big corporate world and things. I was very lucky in the role that I was in, but I just lost a bit of the passion. I lost the love of it. And I got fed up with, even though I was a head of department, waiting 6 months for projects to be signed off by the chairman and all these sorts of things. And initially I thought I'd just take a short break and then I might go back to it. I didn't know. But actually it was my husband, it was my family that said to me, because I was already doing some freelance stuff, why don't you do this? And I was like, well, are you sure? And literally within sort of a period of 3-4 hours of being told I was going to be made redundant, we'd already decided this is what we were doing. I was going full-time and I went full-time. And yeah, there's been some hairy moments with, like you said, you're like, how are we going to pay this month's bills? But actually, you get to a point where you get the momentum going. People now recognize me as Escape the Village rather than my brand sort of role and things like that. and I'm getting invited to things, I'm speaking at things, and it's that perseverance and that momentum, just being persistent and just keep on going. Now, I know that's really difficult when you've got rent or a mortgage to pay. And we were really lucky, actually. I had my redundancy money, and also some family have helped out.
Yeah.
But just being able to keep on going.
Yeah. We were lucky that we've got family to help out. And when I first started the business, it was very much I can't go back to the full-time job. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's always been, it will work because it has to.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we've had some tough times this year, particularly. My mum's had to step in and pay a couple of bills for us.
Yeah, yeah.
But she's always said, since I started the business, it's like you could have gone on benefits and given up. But you went, no, I need to do something. I need to keep working, but I need to do it so it works for me. I think that's the beauty of self-employment.
Absolutely. I think we were saying earlier that if I'm tired, if I'm struggling one day, I can roll things over, I can stop early, I can start early. I've got that choice.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of really challenging periods this year when my daughter was in hospital. I've been ill as well. And I've managed to sit actually on the hospital wall with my laptop and still carry on doing stuff while she's been virtually unconscious next to me. Or it is that choice thing. It really is. And the other thing is, this only came to me the other day, and I find it really bizarre, but I suppose on reflection, it's actually very obvious. I haven't been as ill since I left the corporate world. I still really, don't get me wrong, I really struggle with exhaustion. I really struggle with my pain. My balance is still diabolical. I look as if I've been on a pub crawl for a solid week. But, despite the fact I don't really drink. But actually, although I'm just getting over a chest infection, that's the first chest infection I've had in 18 months.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking up the little annoying coughs and colds. And I'm not getting don't get me wrong, I get stressed, but that's of a different type. I'm not getting that pressure or that stress or anything that I used to get. When I had to go into the office or, and things like that. It's very different.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, up to Ben going back to work, and he only goes into the office 2 days a week. He still managed to bring a cold home within the first month, which I haven't actually got back to baseline since then. But I've also been doing other things, so I've not been resting enough. And my pain and my fatigue is getting worse, but I'm managing it on my own with no help with anything. But yeah, it's still my choice. I mean, this morning I was up at 5 o'clock working because yesterday I could do very little because I was so fatigued. But I'm up to date. If I cannot get ahead, and it's just that I can do that, or I can go, no, I can't. I just need to either go lie down, rest, just watch TV and let my brain switch off. But yeah, it's all about choice.
Yeah.
And looking after yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I even treated myself recently. I went to a conference and I had to stay away overnight, and I had a veterans discount card. So I used the discount to upgrade my hotel room. And oh my goodness me, it was actually lovely because I made the choice when I was going to go, how long I was going to stay for. I upgraded my hotel room and I had the most beautiful big shower and a huge bed all to myself. And actually, it was as good as a holiday.
Yeah.
It was lovely, and I got to meet people face to face and all sorts of things. And that it was just really lovely. Whereas previously I'd be putting receipts in to accounts. Well, I still have to put in receipts to my accountant, but putting in receipts to accounts, asking for permission to go and all of this. And then you get it at the last minute when all the discounts have gone. And it's like,
usually with a tiny budget.
Yeah. So it's been a roller coaster year, but it's been a good year.
Yeah, I'd say, it's been a good year. It could have been less stressful. But that just comes with being self-employed, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always going to be a roller coaster. So what are your plans for the future?
Oh, well, it's been really exciting because Izzy, my daughter, who works with us part-time, is now studying photography and videography.
Ooh.
So we are offering those services to our more local clients as well to help them build their image libraries and things like that. So that's part of our sort of onboarding package, part of our support package for websites and social media and things like that now. Also building our team in other ways as well, because when I first started off, I had a VA, but I've now got 3 somehow. Well, I'm being greedy. Well, each of them does different things quickly. I've got somebody who does all my paid ads for my clients. I've got somebody else who actually has a marketing agency very similarly to mine up in Scotland. So we refer backwards and forwards. And I've got a new accountant, a new bookkeeper, which is amazing because I log into Xero and my bank's accounts reconciled and oh my goodness me, it's amazing. So it's about building the team up now. So I personally can step back a little bit more. I've got even more flexibility and things like that, because especially when you're juggling health challenges as well, I think it's really important to recognize you can't do it all.
Yeah, absolutely can't.
And I'm the worst one for you. I'm so stubborn. I'm so pig-headed. And I'm a real control freak as well. Honestly, it's terrible. And I'll be the first to admit that. But actually, by gradually letting go of these things to other trusted team members, it's released me. It's taken some of the pressure off of me. And things
it's a mindset shift, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, obviously, there's cost involved in that. But then also actually it's increased our capacity and things like that as well. We are also looking, well, obviously, as you probably know, more at our sponsorships and things as well. When we first started off, I was sponsoring an individual episode. We've got a country show that we sponsor. We've got a sports forum that we sponsor, and all sorts of different things now to get us out there, but also to give back to our community as well. So really for us moving forwards, it's about sustainable growth.
Yeah. Don't try and rush headlong in anything.
No.
Considered steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And because most of the team, I mean, Izzy's slightly different because she's eventually going to come in as a director. But because most of the team are either project-based or set hour-based, it does mean that I'm not having to pay 9 full-time members of staff and things like that. It's much easier these days to actually build up your business gradually and to have a bookkeeper to help you, to have a VA help you. There isn't that expectation that your first team member has to be a full-time team member. Yeah.
It's like you outsource to the freelancer that you need.
Yeah.
Or the time that you need.
Such a difference. So yeah, it's exciting.
I will look forward to seeing all that happen.
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, it's already gradually happening and things. When Izzy finishes this current course, she's going to come in and probably as an apprentice into the business initially, although she's already sort of part of the business, as I said, doing the photography and videography. And then the sort of ultimate goal is for her to come sort of join us as a director. But yeah, we'll gradually increase the hours of everybody else. And then we can make a decision whether we need full-time or not. But it does make it much more easy to be sustainable.
It does. Like you can scale back if you need to as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can work both ways.
Yeah.
Do you have any top tips to share with us?
Oh gosh, I think my biggest top tip is to actually have a plan.
Does help.
Plan ahead. I mean, I have my big goals are yearly, 3 yearly, and 5 yearly. But actually, I like to do quarterly planning as well.
Yeah.
So, what do we need to achieve within the next 3 months? And it could be something really simple, like recently we've looked at new onboarding software and we've finalized that. because that means we don't have emails going backwards and forwards all the time with clients.
Yeah.
We just set it up, direct them to the onboarding platform. The onboarding platform reminds them if they haven't filled it in, sends me reports on how much they filled in, when they filled it in, etc. And then we're not wasting time. So little things like that. But I think you also have to be really careful that you're not just sucked up by your client work.
Yeah.
And you have to make time to actually work on your business as well as in your business. And I think you'll hear virtually every business coach out there saying this.
Yeah. Mine's going to tell me off tomorrow if we're not doing it.
Yeah, but you can only do that if you plan.
Yeah.
And if you plan ahead. I mean, I know some people worry about Christmas because either it's like mega busy for them or it's dead. It's dead quiet. But actually, I like December because it is quieter. And then I can actually slot in those bigger projects. You know, if I want to redesign my own website, I'll do it then. If I want to update our photography, if I want to look at launching a new service or something, or a new training course, I'll do it then, or prepare it then to launch it in the new year, because I know I will have the time then to do it.
See, I always expected December would be, everything would quiet down, everything would trickle off, but I end up really busy in December, which I always find quite strange. And yet the first year I worked like up to almost to Christmas. And then my plan of doing like a year of social media, all sorts of my own admin, that happened between Christmas and New Year. So I didn't get a break. Now I take 2 weeks off and I tell my clients a month in advance, I'm taking this time off, get everything to me by this date, which again, it's planning. It helps everybody. And December's still busy, but it's manageable instead of everybody going last minute, I need this doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just planning ahead, trying to get organized. Yes, there are going to be flies in the ointment and things will
always
come and creep up behind you and things like that. But actually knowing what your workload will be, if possible, knowing when your quiet times are, thinking about those things that you want to achieve, like us selecting that onboarding software was massive for us. And maybe it might be something that's currently working for you, but you're planning ahead and it might not work for stage 2 of your business. So how are you going to manage that? And that was exactly what it was for us. When we were quieter, we could manage those emails going backwards and forwards. But as we've got busier, actually we can't. So earlier this year, one of the big things we did was actually upgrade our CRM to give us more functionality. Yes, it was more expensive, but it gave us more functionality, and it saved us so much time, actually. And it has even saved us financially as well, because it enabled us to get rid of other things we were subscribing to. But that had to be planned.
Yeah.
So,
like, I use Monday.com to organize my life, and because I was putting chunks of time in my calendar for each client work, but I've got, I think, above 10 clients now, so it gets more difficult. And it's like, who's doing what's where, what needs to be done. And Monday is expensive, but I couldn't do without it.
no.
And recently I've also, because I have a long list with dates when things need to be done and which client it's for, and sometimes that list can look overwhelming because it's usually at least like a month ahead, especially on things that repeat. So I put in some new groups, one for each day of the week. And I just filled it up at the start where it's like, this needs to be done this day, this needs to be done this day. And I'm just working down them. And that seems to help. I've also moved out a new board for my admin and the podcast admin. So that's not just another list below my giant list of client work that I don't look at.
That maybe you should do occasionally.
Yeah. So now it's in a new board, so I can just have a look at it. And it's actually really helped because one of my bigger clients also uses Monday. So it's like, set yourself up a board, set up your automations, and we're good to go.
Well,
and because I know how to use it, it does work.
This is it. I mean, I use High Level as my CRM. And it means that I've got automated calendars now. I've got one for my networking collab calls. I've got one for my monthly client calls. I've got one for my own networking event that I host. But they all sync into my central calendar and I don't have to worry about that. I've got automatic sort of funnels for certain products and things like that. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time to set up, but actually in the longer term, it saves you so much time.
Yeah. There's always a setup time, but once it's done, the time saving's insane.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that all comes back to that getting planned, getting organized and things. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in.
No, you need
some
to do it.
industries are easier than others to be organized, I'm sure. It's like my husband's got a gardening business and he'll plan his entire week. And then like today, we actually have torrential rain. So he's got to rejuggle all his clients. But there are things that you can plan ahead on. So
there are. And if you also got a contingency plan in there as well, you're laughing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Thank you for joining me once again, Liz. Where can people find you? You
can find us at www.escapethevillage.com. Escape the Village is also on virtually every single social media platform, it feels like. So if you just search for Escape the Village, you can find us. I'm also on LinkedIn. If you just look for Elizabeth Grainey, you will find me. I will crop up. We're quite unique, us Elizabeth Grainey. So I've only ever come across one other, and she's a distant relative. And she's not on LinkedIn. So yeah.
Fabulous. And thank you again for joining me.
Absolute pleasure.
It has. And thank you all for listening in again on this lovely BSN podcast for disabled entrepreneurs. Come join us in the Facebook group. All the links will be in the show notes, so check those out. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time for our next one. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.